Hi guys, today we're talking about derivatives using limits. So here's the handy dandy formula that you're going to use. The way you read this, you read f prime of a and then the limit as h approaches 0. And then most of you remember this formula from the previous videos. So we're still doing the same thing, but the work that we're going to have is going to be a little bit worse. But it's the same thing that you did when you were doing limits. So just a refresher here. Derivatives is we're still finding the instantaneous rate of change, and we're still finding the slope of the tangent, like we did before. Okay, let's get going. So, when we're trying to find the derivative of f of x, square root of x, we're still going to have to find f of 81 plus h, because it's going to be part of the formula right there. And we also need to find f of 81. So that's that my a right here is 81. Okay, so we substitute 81 plus h right there where x is. So this one doesn't look too bad. So 81 plus h under the square root. And here I have, we're going to substitute 81 right there for x. And we know square root of 81 is just 9. Okay. Now I have the information I need, so I can go back and plug that in the formula. So I have the limit as h approaches 0 of f of 81 plus h minus f of 81, everything over h. So since we already have that, we're going to go ahead and substitute that. So right here I have square root of 81 plus h minus f of 81 is 9. Everything over h. Now, when we were solving limits, when we spent the whole semester solving and working with limits, when you had something like this, you can just simply plug in 0 for h because you can't divide by 0. So at this point, you need to rationalize the numerator. That's when you multiply numerator and denominator by square root of 81 plus h plus 9. Okay, this is how we rationalize the numerator. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply that. So when you're multiplying the square root times the square root, it's going to be the squared, so the square root simply simplifies down to 81 plus h. Now multiply that, you have a negative. Multiply that, you have 81. Okay. Now the denominator, you're just going to leave that as in terms of h. Okay. Simplify what you can. So 81, take away 81, 0. H divided by h is 1. So you can also simplify that. Let's rewrite it. We're getting somewhere here. So now at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and replace 0 to where h is. So substitute 0 for h. So I have 1 over square root of 81 plus 0. I'm just going to write it out just because that's your notes, so that way you know where it went. Plus 9. So square root of 81 plus 0 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. So that's not bad. We've done this before, but you just need to suffer through it. One more example over this. Again, we've found this limit over similar stuff, but now since we're doing derivatives using limit, I'll just review this with you. Okay, so from the formula, you know I'm going to have to find g of 12 and g of 12 plus h. Okay, substitute 12 right there where x is. So I have 1 over 9 minus 12. Can I make it brighter? Yes, I can. So you just simply get negative 1 over 3. That's the easy one. So negative 1 over 3. Now the second part, I will substitute 12 plus h where x is. Be careful with that negative. Distribute that negative. Combine like terms. Okay, now we're ready to start. Looky there. Okay, so we're doing limit as h approaches 0 of g of 12 plus h minus g of 12, everything over h. Now I have all the information I need. I'll go ahead and substitute that in the formula. Okay, so here I have this fraction. So it's 1 over negative 3 minus h minus g of 12 is negative 1/3. So two negatives make a positive right there. Everything over h. Oh yeah, limit as h approaches 0. Ha! Okay, now here I need to add, but the denominators are not the same, so I have to find the LCD. So I'm going to do all this work right here off to the side. So LCD is 3, negative 3 minus h. And if you have a different way to do this, go for it. You don't have to do it my way. So this is my LCD. I have 1 right there from the numerator that I already had. And this stuff divided by that, I have 3 left over. Plus 1 from right there. This whole thing divided by 3 is negative 3 minus h. Some of you might want to say you crisscross right there. Do what you want. But in reality, this is, the pretty way to do it. It's okay. So negative 3, positive 3, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. 1 times h is negative h. Everything over our LCD that we had. Combine like terms. 3 minus 3 is 0. So I only have negative h over 3, negative 3 minus h. So all this work that we did in this cute little box is this part right here. It's not the answer, okay? I'm just boxing it so you know this is where it was. Okay, bring it all back together. We have negative h over our LCD. So we are replacing this with this over h. And we're still finding the limit as h approaches 0. All right. So now when you divide, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So negative h over 3, negative 3 minus h, multiply by the reciprocal, so 1 over h. H divided by h is 1. We're almost to the point that we can just go ahead and plug in 0 for h. Looky there. Looky, looky. Okay, negative 3 minus h. Now, we will go ahead and substitute 0 right there for h. And then here you get a pretty 1 over 9, because here I have -1 and I have -9. Two negatives make a positive. Voila. All done. Now you know how to find derivatives using limits. Bye.